Don Garber said last week the hope and the expectation is that after a 3 to 4 week sort of second preseason, the league would get back underway, trying to play all 34 games this season if possible, even if that means having MLS Cup be now in the second half of December. And we asked Jozy Altidore the other day, will it feel like the league just sort of resuming after a pause, or will it feel like the league is starting from scratch again this year?
I expect it to feel like the beginning of a season again. I think being only 2 games in and a couple teams playing Champions League, I think most teams are still getting their feet wet, still getting acclimated and getting ready for a long season. And so I think we'll need that time to kind of that reacclimation and get used to guys again and that kind of thing. And I'm excited to create a release for fans. I think everybody has been through a very difficult period, and we continue to be in a very difficult period, but we have to keep believing and understand that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we have to stay with each other during this process. I think that's incredibly important to be supportive and understand that this is something way bigger than one another. And, you know, as a society, as people, we have to rally together, stay close.
And this brings us to our next question here, coming from Brian. Should MLS, if they were to continue with the full 34-game season, get rid of the other extra competitions, CCL, US Open Cup, Leagues Cup? I mean, Stu, this is already a jam-packed American soccer calendar anyway in 2020. Now with this long delay, how do you expect to see the pieces put back together?
Yeah, this is actually going to be one of the real unfortunate parts of this reshuffling of the deck, unfortunately, is that you're going to see some of these smaller competitions. And, you know, full disclosure, I'm on the US Open Cup committee with US Soccer, and I think the chances of that tournament being played in its entirety are next to zero. And I hope in the long term, as these big competitions, high TV revenue, really important competitions, eventually there is a funnel down once again to some of these smaller ones, because I don't see a 34-game MLS season happening. I think we just have to be real about that. I think you'll see a condensed version somewhere in the 20s, and then it's going to be a sprint to the finish type scenario, because you have to finish these leagues. These leagues rely on this revenue. These clubs rely on this revenue, not just here domestically in the United States, but also globally. Everybody has the same issue right now, and it's how do you fit these games in without just completely null and voiding all the competitions that have been previously scheduled. And lastly on that, it is going to feel like a new season. I think with all these challenges, there's going to be unique situations, and this is one of them. Let's embrace this new start, even though you're going to see Minnesota United up there. You're going to have that wonderful LAFC in Philadelphia 3-3 in the bag. But I look forward to the day when we can get back to talking about stuff on the field, even though that's probably going to be in front of empty stadiums as well.
Yeah, I don't see a full MLS season being played. It'll be abbreviated and condensed. And in a certain way, it will provide a different type of situation and circumstance, and one that we're not necessarily used to. While MLS is often this marathon and then the playoffs at the end, this will be much more of a sprint. In a certain way, sometimes MLS is criticized for games not meaning enough in the regular season. Well, if and when this comes back in a condensed version, each and every game is going to be that much more important, and it will be this race to the finish that is the playoffs. I think it'll provide some exciting moments, but I don't, look, I am cautiously optimistic, but the way things are going right now when it comes to the situation and obviously the safety of players, I would not expect to see a full season when it comes to MLS or any seasons out there. But I will expect to see something, a hybrid and a very unique type of season that will always be talked about. Will always have a certain asterisk when it comes to who wins and who doesn't and what happened. But this is what happens when you are in unprecedented type of times and territory right now. You have to adjust and you have to do things differently, and they will live long in the memory because of the unique aspect of what we are going through right now.
For the best soccer content anywhere on the internet, follow Fox Soccer on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.